Jake Berry has managed astonishing tours fearlessly and with deft precision, making him one of the most admired professionals in the live event industry. And this remarkable career started with a pint. Berry was born in Exeter, Devon County, England, with his twin brother Trevor in 1953. At 12, they formed a rock group with Jake on drums. They called themselves the Scandals because it was scandalous that anyone would pay us to play, Berry jokes. But this would not be his passageway to rock and roll greatness. At 18, Berry was driving a truck when his brother, a roof thatcher, summoned him to bring supplies to a cottage Trevor was working on, a cottage owned by Yes keyboardist Rick Wakeman. Berry and Wakeman ended up having a pint at the local pub, which led to more pints. Wakeman jokes, "I first met Jake in 1974 when I moved to Devon to cut back on my drinking. Jake increased my alcoholic intake by about 300%. But something other than Berry's ability to drain a pint impressed him, and next thing Berry knew, he was pushing cases for him at Wembley Arena." Because of Berry's work with Wakeman, next he was trusted with the awesome responsibility of setting up the 17 keyboards used on Yes's Going for the One tour. This is also where he first worked with lighting and scenic designer Michael Tate. On that tour, he also met Ian Jeffrey, who became tour manager of a young band called AC/DC. He wanted Berry as a production manager. The two decided to fib and say Roadie Berry had been stage manager for Yes. When I was AC/DC's manager, I was told to hire Jake Berry as our production manager, Peter Mensch recalls. I count that as one of the smartest decisions I have ever made. Suddenly, Berry was production manager for the 1979 Highway to Hell tour. He credits something important that he learned from Jeffrey. Never admit you don't know something, and just say, "I'll get back to you on that." In February of 1980 came shocking, heartbreaking news. Bon Scott had died from alcohol poisoning. In what he says was the lowest moment of his career, Berry and Jeffrey had the gruesome task of going back to Scott's apartment to clean up after his tragic death. Berry next went to work for Ronnie James Dio, albeit briefly. During a show in Quebec, he was explaining the lighting to non-English speaking French Canadians when he was summoned to Dio's dressing room. Feeling that the task at hand was more important, he kept working on the show. Dio fired him. Berry flew home thinking he would never work in this business again. It proved to be a rare instance of Berry being wrong. Next up was a string of heavy metal gigs, Motley Crue, then Metallica, and more with AC/DC. The tours were long and hard. A Metallica tour lasted so long, he celebrated 3 birthdays on it. In 1993, promoter Michael Cole told him the Rolling Stones were looking for a new production manager. It was like going from AA ball to the Major League, Berry says. Stone's lighting designer Patrick Woodruff says, "There is no one more passionate, committed, or able than Jake Berry. He makes decisive decisions that sweep everyone along in his wake." Woodruff adds that both apparently had their lives threatened by one Keith Richards. With Berry, it was a knife. Woodruff, a gun. Woodruff reports they both managed to survive with their dignity and cojones intact. The Stones' 40 Licks tour was memorable for Berry. He was in Munich on the eve of his 50th birthday when he was called to Sir Jagger's dressing room, a sobering request. Jagger led Berry to his surprise party. Berry did a double take as he spotted his mom sitting between Richards and Ron Wood. They had brought her in the Stones limo. It was total class, Berry says of the event. Whether that description fits road manager Alan Dunn's fashion statement is subject to debate. Next came an invitation to join another of rock's royal family, U2, starting with Elevation and most recently their widely successful 360 tour. He's had a guiding hand in their most dazzling concerts. Berry has kept busy beyond the world of arena rock. He was a key player on the spectacular Walking with Dinosaurs. Of that show, he quipped, there were less egos involved, but more luggage.
You know, everyone asked me about Jake Berry. He had a passion for the show. He had more than just a production manager. He gave input to the artist. He was creative. He added to every production in so many ways. However, be warned, if you're ever involved with one of his loadouts, you better be fast or you'll be loaded in with the rest of the stuff.
Famed lighting designer Willie Williams, who has worked with Berry on U2 tours, says he's unafraid of a challenge. Very big things or very large numbers of trucks. He's unafraid of management, promoters, agents, or Live Nation. He's unafraid of rock stars, lighting designers, set designers, video directors, or sound engineers. He's unafraid of dinosaurs, be they large and lifelike or purple and fluffy. He's fearless.